He's not a bat, he's a man who fights crime. And we're gonna watch him fight for a minute at a time. With John and Niall and a guest who doesn't rhyme. It's Bat Minute!
Attention, citizens of fair Gotham, and welcome to Bat Minute of the Phantasm, the show that is authorised to use deadly force. So you better watch out. See? You have to end with C, don't you, all the time. I am one of your hosts, John Parker.
I thought that was the ghost of Edward G. Robinson himself.
Oh, I fooled you all.
Yeah. But although Edward G. Robinson, Chief Wiggum is based on Edward G. Robinson, which I guess is very appropriate for this minute as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I am a man who will never stray too far from the light. It's me, Niall McGowan.
I think you've fallen long ago. long ago.
Much like Anakin Skywalker, but can I be brought back, John? Just a quickie, like a graveside redemption, and hey, I'm a good Force ghost now.
Well, someone who is here to bring the light, to illuminate this minute, is the returning guest, the ever-wonderful Klingon Vanna White.
Greetings and salutations.
Hey, it wouldn't be a season without hearing that now. You know, I have to have that in my day. This is minute 45. The minute starts with the jacking of a jet, and it ends with the police ready to escalate their violence.
I did have to check, because I know this came out on Christmas Day of 1993, and I had to check what day the OJ chase was, because it was just like, there's no way they're ripping on OJ, are they? Like, but apparently, no, that was in June 27th, 1994. Was the OJ chase. So Batman beat him to the punch in terms of like high octane police chase that I think we find out in later minutes that like Andreas says like it was all over the news. So maybe OJ was like, I can be Batman.
He got
like,
inspired. It's a misunderstanding that he didn't murder people. It was just he was trying to be a hero and it went wrong.
Yeah, they cut out all that stuff about the Phantasm who killed his wife and
I know I always end up talking about wrestling, but you think it's crazy that they might have ripped off the OJ thing. That year, I believe it was WrestleMania, Roddy Piper had a match with Goldust, which ended up in Goldust getting in a car and running away.
No, totally.
And Roddy Piper got in a... What's the car OJ had?
Some kind of Jeep, wasn't it? It was like a big white Jeep.
Oh, it was like a white... Bronco.
That was it, yeah. So Roddy Piper gets in a white Bronco and drives after him. And they use actual footage. They don't reshoot anything. It's OJ. They use the OJ chase and just say it's Roddy Piper.
Public domain, man.
Yeah. That's insane. And this was like months after it happened. It's like, what the
Although another weird tie-in, though, is that apparently a celebrity who was obsessed with the OJ case was Mark Hamill.
Amazing.
Like, apparently, if you look at the trial footage, Mark Hamill's sitting there because he somehow got into the courtroom. He's like, I was there every day.
He used his mind powers.
Yeah, probably. That's how he got off. It was Mark Hamill was like, no, it's not. You will find him not guilty. The jury find him not guilty.
Well, you know, if Luke Skywalker's glove doesn't fit.
Yep. he's only got the one though.
He's got just the one. He doesn't need to. But we are back, yes, as Batman is about to be placed under arrest. He didn't do it, copper, I swear. Yeah.
Here's a question, though, for you, Vanna. In Klingon culture, who would be in the right here? Like, who would be the superior character? Because Batman is obviously a warrior, you know, but at the same time, the police are the ultimate authority. And they, as we see in this minute, they're quite happy to kill him. Like, Batman doesn't kill. They say that, you know, Commissioner Gordon's like, the Batman does not kill, like earlier in this very movie. But, like, what's the, Klingon policy? Would you be supporting the cops here? Because, like, they're in the right to just go and get the guy, no matter what, to take down their prey, no matter the consequences. Or is Batman in general, because he bucks authority, and he's just like, I'm an independent warrior who, you know, has mastered the art of everything, etc., etc.
It is based on whoever can deliver the biggest beatdown. It will change from minute to minute. So the superiority is determined by, who wins the beatdown.
I think he's on the ropes in this, well, for the next couple of minutes, really.
I know people don't want violence. Everyone needs to be nice to each other. But I think at the very least, politicians should be made to combat each other to determine who is allowed to stand.
I don't know. I think I could backfire quite quickly, though, to be fair. But...
No, I don't care. I want to see it, and I want to watch it on pay-per-view.
I don't know, because some people, I think, like... Some politicians, I'm sure, would fight very, very dirty. So you can't trust them in terms of their policies. They wouldn't mind just stabbing you in the eye. Like, I don't think that's above, certain people who were in power very recently. So,
that does feel like a Klingon move. Would they do that, or is that not honourable, going for the eyes? I don't know.
Oh, whatever is available, to go for.
I think that's fine. I don't think that's dishonourable because you've both agreed to combat already up front, right?
Yeah.
And so, if it gets very scrappy and someone loses their sight, it's fine.
Yeah. Well, I should ask, though, because, Mask of the Phantasm, a very acclaimed Batman film, but not a lot of people have seen it prior to, more recent years. Like, it was bombed when it came out and stuff. When did this, did you recall watching this on your home world, or did it not get there until,
I do not.
Oh, wow.
I think that you two are the first ones to introduce me to this.
Oh. Well, even like the animated series, were you familiar with the weekly cartoon, or is this was all new to you?
It is all new to me.
Oh, wow.
Don't worry, I was the same,
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, so what did you think of it? What was the verdict?
I was of the whole movie. It was very. I was just like, wow. I was having a hard time figuring out which character was which, because I kind of thought that the weird lawyer that was friends with the father could end up being Two-Face. I thought maybe that was Harvey Dent at first, but then I realized I can't remember his name.
Arthur Reeves.
But,
yeah.
Arthur Reeves, yeah, and I was just like, oh, okay, well, that's not Harvey Dent. And then I thought that the red-haired lady, was Vicky Bale? Was that who? The intrepid reporter? Yeah. And it was just like, oh, he has another love interest.
Yeah.
Who has red hair, and I was so it was very confusing.
Yeah,
it is weird that they don't just all kind of collate and have Batman have a canonical one love, But every version's like, nope, we've made our own one for him.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it's just like reimagining. It's so fun. Yeah. But and then the red herring of the Joker.
Yeah.
You're just like, okay, he's just the chaos monkey of this thing.
Although speaking of casting, though. Also, you get like the copper in the chopper is saying, Batman, you are under arrest. Put your hands atop your head and stay in the light. Which I love. It's just like, oh my god, that's good megaphone voice. Like that guy. He's clearly like, okay, whenever we go out to arrest anybody, you are the guy who's going to be. And listen to how crisp and clear his voice is. But the thing is, as I listened to it, I was like, I know that voice. From somewhere. Oh. And so I had to track it down.
I must reveal it was me, Niall, yes.
You were the architect of all my misery.
I will be.
But going down, it's just like, but what? Particularly when he said, like, stay in the light. I was like, I know that voice. And so looking through, it's like, it's obviously not any of the big characters. It's not going to be friggin' Kevin Conroy or Mark Hamill or anyone. But then I was looking through, like, the people who just do, parentheses, additional voices on IMDb. I was looking through a few of them. And then I came across a guy, Jeff Bennett. And as I was going down, I seen, what's his credits? And then I just seen one that said, Dexter's Laboratory Dad. I was like, that's him. He's the dad from Dexter's Laboratory. And not only is he that, Jeff Bennett is like, he's a big deal in the voiceover world, apparently. I didn't know about him until this weekend. But to go through his other credits, he is... which I started off relatively small. He was, well, and everything's connected. He was the singing voice of, what do you call him, Zazu from The Lion King, the Rowan Atkinson character.
Yeah.
And whenever he sings, it's Jeff Bennett. Apparently also played by Rowan Atkinson in voice, the rest of the movie. But then apparently also played by Michael Gough in one of the sequels, Zazu. So there you go. There's a little connection back to one of our previous Alfreds. The Alfred we had for 4 straight movies up until this one.
Everything's connected.
Yeah. He was Ace in the Powerpuff Girls of the Gangrene Gang. People remember the Powerpuff Girls because I love the Powerpuff Girls. The Gangrene Gang were the green punk gang, and he was the guy with the sunglasses and the kind of the crappy teen stash and stuff.
Okay, I remember them a bit. I wasn't really watching cartoons when that was a thing.
I loved it
I'm not
so
belittling you by saying that, let me just say. But I did see some of it, and I think I remember those.
Yeah. He's Lord Camembert in Biker and Rice from Mars.
Now that I watched.
Yeah. And a lot of things. Did Foghorn Leghorn in Looney Tunes Back in Action, which of course was Joe Dante, but it features the Tim Burton Batmobile up until this year, the last sighting on screen of Tim Burton's Batmobile. But of course now it's back in The Flash as of June of 2023. But then also going up his first role, which I got excited to see, was he played IQ in James Bond Jr., which has been mentioned several times in the show. But I always remember it was weird because I saw James Bond Jr. first. And so I thought, he's called IQ because he's smart. And then when I saw Q in the normal James Bond movie, I was like, well, what Q doesn't mean anything? What the hell? And now I realize it's because it's a code thing, and they call him IQ because he's smart. It's just it's a bit stupid.
Maybe he's saying IQ.
Much like from your neck of the woods. He is part of the continuum, I believe. Yeah. Although that'll come up again later, because I've got a note on that. One of his bigger roles have been Brooklyn in Gargoyles, one of the main gargoyles, and of course the biggest one that he has is the voice of Johnny Bravo.
Hey.
Jeff Bennett is Johnny Bravo. And even now knowing that, hearing the "stay in the light," if you just Elvis that up a little bit and just turn it in, add in a couple of whip crack sound effects of him, flexing his muscles and stuff, it will be, "Hey, stay in the light." Whoosh. So yeah, I was so excited to see it is literally, name Johnny Bravo, occupation Johnny Bravo.
Amazing.
Is the man himself, yeah.
The King Himbo.
Yeah. Oh, did you ever come across Johnny Bravo, Vanna? Is that the thing that ever made it to Klingon?
No, I don't. I'm not aware of it. Was that the one where it was the father with the? Let me look up Johnny Bravo because. Oh no, that was Johnny something else.
Where Johnny Quest or something.
Yes. Yeah.
No,
we're just Johnny Bravo? No, I've never seen this.
Oh, Johnny Bravo was amazing. It's one of those shows that it would never be made now because I think people will be too even though the joke was basically it was weird. It was a show posted at 9-year-olds, but it was just this muscle-bound Elvis voiced bequiffed himbo, and all he did was try to get dates. He would just go around harassing women all the time, going, "Hey, baby," and just flexing his muscles and stuff. And it was like those 1950s, the beach ads. Of you can bulk up and be like this. He was the big bulky guy.
Yeah.
And somehow that was just
the guy that kicks the sand in the face of the guy.
Yeah, he was that guy. But they made a whole show of. So what if Johnny Bravo went to the jungle and met, Amazonians and all this kind of, or what if Johnny Bravo had to sell Girl Scout cookies, that kind of thing. But it was fantastic. And I think you wouldn't make it now because people will be like, well, he's just preying on women all the time.
But the joke kind of is that it doesn't usually work out for him.
I think it never does. The women are always portrayed as being more intelligent. They're always in good jobs. They're always just they're constantly telling him to go away, just buzz off and stuff. And the whole joke is that he's just an idiot and he just doesn't get that he has no respect for people. No. And he never learns anything.
He thinks that, well, of course they're gonna want to go out with me. Look at me.
Yeah. But nowadays, I think the only time I ever did, because weirdly, coincidentally, just this week, I was watching a thing about the the Cartoon Network. They used to do bumpers for a period at the end of every cartoon where they'd have like ongoing storylines with all the characters they had the rights to. And there was a whole thing about Johnny Bravo being in love with Velma from Scooby-Doo. And apparently, he proposed to her, and then she turned him down because she was too into her career and stuff. And that was his one great heartbreak, was that Velma from Scooby-Doo, he was in love with her, and she turned him down. And I was just like, now I have to go and watch all of these because I didn't realize there's like a genuinely good story arc going on. And these were just like the little things that play after episodes of like the Flintstones and stuff. There was also one too about like when the Blair Witch Project came out. There was like a lengthy Blair Witch spoof where they used the footage from the Blair Witch Project, but just put in the Scooby-Doo characters over the top.
I couldn't even watch the Blair Witch Project because of the shaky.
Oh, because of the shaking. Same exact thing that happened to me. Actually, when I first saw it, I had to like take a break because I was actually actively nauseous because of the camera work and stuff. Yeah,
I can't do it.
I never had a problem with that. I understand, the issue. I think I'm just lucky. People get that with video games that are first person as well. They're like, oh, I feel sick.
Same, yeah. The time I played, Bioshock Infinite, like I had to stop. Like it was just too. Like I finished the game, but it took me a long time to get into like not feeling sick as I was playing it. Tried to replay GoldenEye. The N64 version can't do it anymore. It's just like, no, just that motion. And even I remember, too, when I went to see Cloverfield, of course, directed by Matt Reeves, who went on to direct The Batman. I remember sitting looking, just focusing all my attention on the exit sign that was by the door. Not because I wanted to leave, but because the camera work was so shaky. I was just like, I'd have to not look at the screen for a while. And so I kind of half look over to see if anything was happening, and then I'm like, okay, just keep looking at the thing. And it was just because I was feeling sick in the cinema. So,
not
man.
good.
Yeah, I would have thought Klingon stomachs were made of sterner stuff, though.
Yes, I would have too, but gravity works in mysterious ways.
That's what it is. It's
when
just
you're
because
watching
you're here.
something that doesn't line up with your reality of where your gravity is, it's definitely going to mess with my inner ear at least.
No, another thing though, have to mention, of course, that Jeff Bennett did is that he was the voice of the Joker in Batman: The Brave and the Bold.
Yeah,
which is just a phenomenal cartoon that a lot of people sort of kind of dismissed a little bit because it's very silly and campy, when that's the entire point of it.
I really want us to cover that one.
Oh, it's phenomenal. He's in... The Joker doesn't pop up much in it because the whole purpose of The Brave and the Bold is to sort of show people more of like, the Blue Beetle and Bug-Eyed Bill and all these like old forgotten characters, and Batman just happens to be there. So you got like the Doom Patrol on TV like a decade before they made the Doom Patrol TV show because they were just like, no one's ever talked about the Doom Patrol on TV.
Awesome.
But yeah, one of the big things was there was one episode focused on the Joker where he becomes Emperor Joker, whereas Batmite accidentally gives him like god powers. And so the Joker becomes like, he can control time and space and matter, and he uses it to like keep killing Batman and then just bringing him back from the dead to kill him again. So like dumping him in acid, and then the next time he'll like, drop a hammer on him, and it's all very silly and comical because the show is very lighthearted.
It sounds awful though, with like torture, but it's silly and comical. Murder's fun.
But the thing is, though, for your take the pin out of the thing, mentioning the Q continuum there, Vanna, is because I'll put in a picture of what Emperor Joker looked like in the episode, as played by Jeff Bennett, who's in this minute, and I'm certain that outfit is just based on Q's whole. Because he has Q powers, so they basically made him look like Q from like the first episode of The Next Generation, with the big weird hat and stuff.
I love it.
Yeah. Although I think it's a whoopee cushion the Joker has on his head there. But I mean, in that episode, it's so inventive. It's so creative because he's just going crazy doing stuff. He gets to sing a song, go smile, darn you, smile. They bring in Harley Quinn because she's not in because the Brave and the Bold's focused on things like pre-1960s. So they bring in their version of Harley Quinn as like a black and white comedian flapper lady. And all his goons are from like the comedy museum. So there's a bit where he robs Harley Quinn of her voice, And so every time she speaks, like just, the silent movie, like the little, like her going, oh no, and then the screen will go black and it'll just say, oh no, to be like, the cue card for when she's speaking. And then at the end, to help out her and Bat Knight, just take those cue cards and start like beating up the goons and stuff with them. And the goons are all like, it's like Harry Lloyd, Buster Keaton, Fatty Arbuckle, like all black and white representations of all these old comedians. It's such a great episode. And yeah, Jeff Bennett is he's the big ruling Joker in it. It's weird though that his version looks exactly like the Dick Sprang Joker of the 50s, but his voice is very Tim Curry-ish.
Oh.
He's kind of, yes, Batman, I'm going to rule the world. Like he has a kind of Tim Curry-ish warp to his voice. And it's just weird because, as we covered, Tim Curry was originally the Joker in Batman the Animated Series, and they got rid of him. And now, finally, that the audio is out of him, it's clear. It's like, well, they got rid of him because his voice was bad. Like,
yeah, but maybe they could have worked with him on it though, and been like, right, it's not what we want, but you're a great voice, you're a great actor, so let's figure something out.
Yeah, I don't know. Apparently, they did several episodes with him, so I guess that they're at the point of like, it's just not working.
Yeah, maybe
we have to retool, but
it's terrible.
Yeah.
Imagine a world.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Apparently, he was off with bronchitis. He came back, and they're just like, "Oh, you're gone. You're not doing it anymore. Luke Skywalker's doing your voice now." So,
well, you can't argue with that. You're like, okay, fair enough.
yeah. And to be fair, Tim Curry, like, he never worked again. That's like he was a prolific voice actor and just actor in general and living legend. Tim Curry, everybody loves him. So.
Hero, love him.
Yeah, got to finally go on and do that. It's not Command and Conquer, or Red Alert or whatever.
He's in Command and Conquer Red Alert 2.
Yeah.
He's one of the Soviet generals. Yes.
He has the greatest moment in any gaming where he's doing that thing, I'm going to strike. I'm going to go the one place where it's not corrupted by capitalism. Space!
Where is that? Oh.
Well, just you wait. These rich billionaires are going to turn it into a capitalist hellscape in space too.
They already have.
Yeah. It's begun.
I think someone the other day, just because Elon just tweeted I have spaceships, and somebody just had to tweet in with the Homer just standing going, I sleep in a big bed with my wife. In response to it.
Burn.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
I know.
But
that is Jeff Bennett. Apparently, I was one of those things going in like, oh, I'm sure this guy probably did a voice on Freakazoid, which he did do. But it's just one of those things of oh, hey, it's it turns out this random voice actor who's just additional voices was a big deal. Of course, one of the other bigger things he did was he was the voice of Alfred Pennyworth in the Batman Year One adaptation. And this whole sequence is pretty much directly lifted from the Year One comic. So,
oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Holy crap!
Yeah. But hey, that's the first second of the minute taken care of. Let's get into the rest.
Yeah, we've changed the show. It's a second by second show now. So yeah, these guys, the police here, they're cracking open the Batwing. Which was fast. There's no chill on these guys, is there? They get to work right away. I get that goddamn thing open right now.
I was more surprised that the Batwing politely landed itself as well.
Yeah, I assumed when he programmed it, it was programming it to go home.
Yeah. Or just to hover around. But it's no, go and politely, just lightly drop yourself on top of a nearby building. It's like an automated plane doing as you imagine it just crashed through the roof or something.
20 dead.
That'll be the thing. It's I didn't kill Sal Valestra. I was wait, killed a bunch of people over there, assholes. So.
Collateral damage.
Yeah. This always got me. It's only now looking at it in such detail. Because they're going at the windscreen with the butt of a machine gun.
Yeah.
Trying to break in. It'd been so. If you were to get arrested by the police and they confiscated your car, it's just normal policy for them to smash the window of it in order to get in. Is that the way that works?
You know what? I'm going to defend them here, and I don't want to defend the police. But, this is a serious bit of high-tech military-style equipment. I think they're just right, we got to disable this thing. This is a weapon.
Typical cop.
No, I can see your angle, John, but also the fact that it is a high-tech bit of military dangerous equipment.
Maybe don't touch it.
Yeah, don't freaking bang it with the butt of a gun.
That's how you fix all problems. You hit them.
Yeah.
I am a cat.
Or this is like the Fonz's son is over there just, hey, I became a cop. And the Batmobile starts playing Rock Around the Clock or whatever now. But, it was weird for me, though, because I remember when I was a kid watching this on like fuzzy VHS. I always thought they were going at it with a plunger. I just genuinely thought they were trying to like suction the windscreen off.
Hey, you can get those though, can't you? You know, you get those things that cut the windscreen open, and then it's got a suction thing on to pull the cut bit out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, that's be like something Catwoman would probably use.
Yeah.
She'd scratch a little hole with her cat claws and then like suction it out, maybe. But no, it was just always like it was an unquestioned assumption. It's like, oh yeah, they're suctioning off the window, and only now looking at it going like, oh no, they're butting it with like a friggin' the butt of. Even that in itself is dangerous. The fact that you've got a machine, like an armed machine gun, and you're just whacking it against something. I was going to say American cops, but then I think just cops in general, to be fair.
I don't even think that at that time cops even had machine guns.
Well,
And I don't even know, they don't even carry, like only special units I think would even carry anything semi-automatic. Yeah, that could be SWAT. But, you know, in general, I don't think that that's like one of the big arguments right now about cops and against like the general public is that, you know, there are so many automated weapons in the US and semi-automatic, you know, weapons of war that people think, you know, should be part of their constitutionally protected rights to have a, you know, AR-15 to protect their home.
Yeah.
Which to me, it seems ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, the King of England could just walk into your house anytime and start pushing you around. You want that?
Even we don't
Charles.
want that.
You know, so the minute leading up, they're trying to dismantle his Batwing very clumsily, like per cops, as they usually do. You know, and then they're just like, we are going to try to kill you. Yeah, that's where I kind of came in.
That's the full on, like, I guess it is. It's just like, yeah, shoot to kill. It's just basically, this isn't rubber bullets. This is just like, yeah, just shoot him. Just shoot him dead. Like, that's what you're not trying to apprehend him. We are full on. This is insane to me to see like police going and like so whole. But I guess their thing is like, well, he's pretty dangerous, I guess. So just shoot the hell out of him.
Kind of the way the cops are right now anyway. So, you know, if you're in a situation where you're surrounded by a bunch of cops with guns wanting to get you, you know, in the U.S., chances are, you know, if you're not a white male, it's not going to end well.
Yeah, that's why I don't fault people for like trying to escape. It's like, no, try and escape. Do it. Yeah.
Well, I know if you're a white male dressed as a bat, what does that mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of weird because like Bruce Wayne should have white male rich guy privileges, but that costume is causing a lot of problems, I guess.
And I think maybe as well, should we consider the fact, you know, that they're shooting to kill? Should we consider the fact that we know the police force here is corrupt? Maybe they've been paid off by gangsters to be like, look, end this guy.
Well, I think this is because, this is Arthur Reeves, obviously. He's got this whole anti-Batman agenda, and he's placed all his faith in Harvey Bullock, who we see in this minute very briefly with his freeze, that guy. And he always hates Batman. He's got a whole, he himself, even though Batman in the animated series saved Harvey Bullock's life many times, he still hates him. And so the fact now he has been given, Arthur Reeves is like, I'm giving you everything at my disposal as a city councilman to go after this guy. And Harvey Bullock's like, finally I can go after this dude. I'm assuming all the cops are just like people he knows also hate Batman, or like the one note I do have on the novelization actually is that they put in a little cameo by Renee Montoya, who, if you don't know, Vanna, is like a minor character in the animated series, went on to be a big deal in the comics. Became the Question and stuff like that. Had a
Question.
Whole big... Yep. the very question that the Destiny Childs sang about. But and also Montoya, created by former guest Mitch Bryan as well. But her whole thing in the animated series is that like she's pro Batman. So if you're, I'm kind of, as much as I like seeing her mentioned in the novelization, I feel like it's wise to keep her out of the movie, because otherwise her whole thing would be like, if you're going to have her there, you'd feel like you'd be indebted into doing like a little thing with her, going like, well, Batman's my friend. Like, why would I, like, you can't do this, Harvey. You saved your life all these times. So there's just like, I can imagine Bullock was like, oh, she's not on the team. Like, because I'll just have her in my ear all the goddamn time. He's just surrounded himself by obedient SWAT people and like guys who hate Batman, I guess. And they're all like, yeah, we think like you, Harvey. Let's go get him and stuff. So I think, yeah, the police force is corrupt, but it's not like, it's kind of half and half. It's not as like hopeless as some of the other movies. I think you have good cops and you have bad cops. And I think Harvey Bullock has just amassed a contingent of they might not even be bad cops. They might just be like, Harvey Bullock himself isn't a bad cop. He's just like, he just hates Batman. He just thinks that Batman's a loose cannon vigilante.
Which you can kind of understand.
Yeah. Oh, totally. In many ways, I can totally see, like, yeah, I imagine many people in real life would be like, there's some psycho going around the Cape flinging weapons at people and stuff. That you're not supposed to do that. You have to take him down, because then what if someday he just decides, I'm going to start killing people? Mm-hmm. And now it seems as if that day has come. So, yeah.
And actually, as they're chasing him, chasing him down, the man himself, I don't know if it's just me, I really loved the animation on his cape as he's jumping. It keeps like billowing out really nicely. It looks really cool.
I assumed that it was slowing his fall. Like it was an actual, like thing that he was like gliding with it. But then he hit pretty hard.
Yeah.
Hey, imagine how hard he would have hit if he didn't have the cape.
That's true. I think it's the one time the blue detailing on the cape's really letting him down. Maybe this is why when they did the redesign years later, he just has like an entirely black cape, because he's just like, God damn, I was running away from the police. They can see me because I'm damn blue in the cape all the time.
I always thought the blue was more of a kind of almost like it's not literally blue. It's to kind of artistically illustrate shadow and shade and things like this, but you can still see him.
Yeah. Although I'd say the beginning of this minute was kind of like that. I would assume the same thing, John. But then you see when he has light blasted directly on his face, it's all blue. It's like, well, it's weird. It's a weird detail. Again, I think maybe it was too complicated for them in the animation to even know what they're doing. So I think that's why they're like, when we're redesigning them, no blue in the cape. It's all black. Just make it easier for
a lot of Victorian and Edwardian evening clothes are this incredible dark blue navy that actually looks blacker than black of the same period. So it does something to your eyes, and you can look at it next to each other and you can say, yeah, this is a very, very, very dark navy. But when you back up and you see the two tuxedos together, you're just like, damn, that blue one looks much darker and blacker than the, gray black, the black that's made with, a, deep gray scale. With no color in it. That actual addition of the blue makes it darker.
That kind of makes sense.
It's quite beautiful.
I think I like the idea too, Vanna, that presumably Alfred helped him make the outfit too. So I can imagine him like, yes, we'll go for an old Victorian black, sir, which is actually perceived by many. It's actually a blue, but you can't. It looks blacker than black. And all this thing. Like, oh, whatever. As long as it's shaped like a bat, I'm cool. Okay.
They had to edit that part out for clarity.
But yeah, there's a little nod again, because they already had the whole, O'Neill Funding Corporation, Adams, Tool, and Die, which is a little nod to Denny O'Neill and Neil Adams. But you can hear on the radio, as Batman's running, they talk about, like, he's moving along Denny Drive. So again, it's another little nod to Denny O'Neill. I believe he was, I think he was, the guy in charge of DC Comics at the time, so I'm thinking, they're like, geez, they're really into Denny O'Neill on this thing. But they might have been like, he's the boss. You better just butter him up, I guess.
Sucking up to the boss, losers.
Yeah. I just have to say, too, though, because this is... This is a really great sequence, though. This starts off like most of next week is all just this big chase as well, and it's just so dynamically done for the one part of the dynamic duo. It's just like when they kick in with the proper like really dramatic version of the Batman theme, and there's just something. It's just as an action sequence, I just found it very, very well done. It actually does have you kind of like tense and stuff as you're watching it. And it's kind of the novelty for in the show. The police are usually on like 99.999% of the time. The police are like pro Batman in the animated series. I think the only time they ever chase him is in like when they did the redesign years after this movie came out. They have that episode Nothing to Fear, I think it's called. It's the one where Batgirl gets gassed by the Scarecrow, and you think she's dead. And Gordon turns against Batman because it tells you knew my daughter was Batgirl and she was doing this and you never told me. And he sets the police after Batman and stuff. But yeah, it's so watching it as a kid, I remember it being like, the police are chasing Batman? What the hell? They can't. Does this happen? And now, of course, you'd be like, well, of course, yeah. They'd be like, in real life, they'd be chasing him all the goddamn time. And we've had several films where they've been chasing him all the goddamn time as well. So. But for 93, it was like, although weirdly also coming directly off Batman Returns, where there's a lengthy sequence where the police are chasing Batman. It felt like a novelty back in the 90s to see this happen. But it's I just really love it as a just in terms of how they animate him running. How everything's set up. It's just like, it's a good tense sequence.
It is. I was really surprised how tense it was, because normally you're like, well, it's Batman, he's just going to get away. But they actually made you think like, well, they might sort of catch him.
Yeah.
There's I think it's because the build up of the fact that like usually he would be like, oh, gas bomb, I'm gone. But there is, or just like, just grapple away. But it's just the fact that like, no, they're everywhere. The cops, like, there's no getting away this time. There's like, even later, like when he jumps down off a thing onto a bridge. The cops are all there. Like, and then he jumps off and he grapples away. No, there's a whole SWAT team there waiting for him. Again, it's just the fact that they're actively. I don't know if it's just like the. I guess it's because Jim Gordon was always, turning a blind eye and stuff. But it's just the fact that this time it's just like Bullock, even though he seems like this big slovenly oaf all the time, he's like, well, like now finally someone's going to try to catch this guy. And this is the thing that you should have been doing years ago when we were first going like, oh, there's some psycho going around blowing stuff up.
He's trying to make up for it, man.
Yeah. It makes Bullock seem really competent to be like, well, this is how you catch Batman. You just go at him like this. And look, in one night I could have caught him, but
almost did. And when Batman, when he's descending and he falls, he falls quite a distance. And it looks nasty, but it doesn't really seem to bother him. He's like the Chad Batman.
He's always the Chad Batman. I guess when he's not, unless he's Robert Pattinson, then he was the other guy.
Yeah, it's like that is a fall. That's a big fall, and he kind of just goes. Well, I suppose it's supposed to be his character, isn't it? Like, okay, I can deal with the pain later.
Yeah. I think it's weird though, because that big long fall. He's all going down feet first, and then at the last minute, he kind of like, I guess maybe he was concerned about his ankles, maybe? He's like, if I just land full on my feet, then I'm going to break something. But I guess he has to kind of maneuver himself into like the shoulder, taking the brunt of it.
Well, apparently the best thing to do is to land into a roll, isn't it? So maybe he was trying to do that.
Well, that makes sense.
Splat.
Yeah.
Splat.
Oh, I suppose if he just landed on his feet, his like ankles would just break out of his skin.
Yeah, totally. I think it was a last minute thing of like, oh, okay, I'm gonna make it. Oh wait, no, I really shouldn't. And then just like, all right, I'll just do this.
Yeah.
He tried to roll, but he got caught up in his bat cape.
God damn this cape!
Again, can't get through doors.
Hey, you have to pay the price for fashion.
Also have to point out too that a little animation mistake in that the police are firing on him with revolvers, but it really seems as if there's no actual like a revolver. You'd have to be like flicking a little thing to like load up the chamber every time. but they're just firing at him like it's an automatic pistol.
Well, that is the thing, right? You can get ones that you don't have to constantly do that, like that. Yeah, but you are right as well in that, because I've written this down. Unless video games have lied to me, again, I'm English. I haven't got a gun. Don't guns like that hold 6 bullets usually?
Yeah.
And they're just firing hundreds of rounds.
Yes, that's what Dirty Harry taught me. There's
there's a cliff, and then you might be able to hold a few more, I think. Not that I'm a gun expert at it by any means.
But that looks like a revolver. They're normally 6, aren't they?
Yeah. I again, too, I would expect that, like, all I know about revolvers is all from old westerns. So I would expect that you need the other hand to go, like, the kind of little tapping thing they always do to get them to fire off quickly. But they don't. I think it was just a thing of, like, the sound guys and the art guys just weren't quite incommunicado. So they're like, they're using revolvers, but we're firing on them with the sound.
It's shorthand.
Yeah.
You know? Shorthand. They don't want to like animate the little finger going ping, 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 or like the thumb pulling back the hammer. And
well, because then they'd have to pay the Korean animators an extra penny.
I know, or they'd be teaching children how to shoot guns.
That's probably the argument they would use. Yeah, no, it's not about paying people. It's we're trying to prevent crime.
Also, I'm assuming we're supposed to gather that they're wearing like leather jackets. But to me, it does look like they're wearing like a little cozy gray cardigan.
I thought it was a cardigan.
It's just the lapels look very like that. That strikes me as a winter cardi.
Yeah,
on there. It's like I have one of those in my house. Like I've got one right behind me right now.
Looks like what I wear when I'm sitting around the house in the middle of like December, and you don't want to put any effort into how you look.
No, you just wear whatever's around.
Yeah,
something shapeless.
It's just too like my cardigan. God, that was a lifesaver this winter. It was just one of those things. Like the house is so cold all the time, and there's got the energy crisis. And then putting on the cardigan is like, oh, this thing's really cozy. I'm okay now. This is great.
Let me recommend to everybody, and I'm not sponsored. The show isn't sponsored, okay? But
I was sponsored by Big Cardi.
Big Cardi. No, at Christmas I got one of those things called an oodie. Which is basically a giant blanket that you wear. It's like a blanket that's a hoodie. And it's massive, and it covers your whole body. And I was like, oh, God, it's really expensive. But I got one, and it's one of the best things I've ever got in my entire life. It's the warmest thing ever. Drew likes to sit on it and everything, because it's the thickest blanket in the world. It's amazing. And you can get themed ones. You might be able to get a Batman one. I don't know. You can currently get a Pokemon one. I don't know. Mine's just
if it's merchandisable, you'll get a Batman one. There's Batman. I'm sure you can buy a Batman gun, even though his whole thing says that he doesn't like guns. And stuff.
Probably. When I lived in Pakistan, you could get anything. My friend had an air rifle that was Playboy branded. You know.
I don't think that's a Pakistan thing either. I think that's like, no, they probably proudly sell that in America as well. Like, they probably have a whole shed full of them in the Playboy Mansion.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I mean, that is a country, though, where, I saw shoes that had 4 different brands on the one shoe.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
You got Nike, and you've got like every brand you can imagine just on one shoe. Reebok.
It's just like your shoes might as well be like a NASCAR. Put as many freaking labels on them as you can get.
That's their logic over there. Like, just put it all on. People will buy it.
Yeah.
I would buy that.
In retrospect, now I would, because it'd be hilarious.
Yeah, true. But yeah, we do get Harvey Bullock presumably just gets a freebie here, because Batman does jump down from another surface. Lands on this time. He does land on his feet. I guess it's like not as big a distance, so he wasn't as concerned. And then instantly behind him, he just hears "freeze," and there's a whole like 10 guns on him.
I wrote 6 billion in my notes. I think that's quite accurate.
But I guess presumably Bullock was just standing there at random. And was just like, all right, we're going to go check every bug house, hen house, and outhouse. I want this guy. Holy crap, he's right. It's just right there.
I don't know. I actually thought this whole sequence showed Bullock in a better light than usual. He's at least good at what he's doing. Like he seems to have planned to be there, I think. It didn't seem to surprise him.
I think he had a kind of like the trajectory of the route he's heading There's only so many places he can land, so if he's set up here, that's bound to be where he'll land there eventually.
And he's right.
Whereas, yeah, I mean,
Or they just had like maximum density of cops. You know, you're just like anywhere he lands, he will be surrounded.
Yeah.
But that's just because Bullock is the guy heading the team, so he's just like, hey, it gets to be me. I guess I randomly got the bridge that he did land on and stuff.
And we do get the classic angry Batman squint again.
Oh, totally.
Always great.
But yeah, and then from loving that energy, I then just also love there's just like him slipping off the bridge, them all firing. And then, again, very much like Batman Returns, actually, when he's fleeing from the whole the Ice Princess capades. Just seeing like the gliding across, and then the kind of like he's heading for the construction site. And it's kind of it gets blending into the next minute, but I just love the escalation of like the cops are already everywhere, but it's like, oh no, he got away, he's gliding away. And then cut into like a shot of like a SWAT team van pulling up there, and the music getting more and more dramatic. It's like. It's really cool. I really like it.
I love it. I always appreciate a scene where Batman just leaps off something. It's like, screw it. If I die, I die. But we know he's not gonna. Not gonna. But every time I fall for it, and I'm like, oh, he's swinging away.
He's gonna break something.
Yeah.
Like
and
I
not
would.
Not just a skylight this time, like which he does every damn movie. But yeah. One thing we're doing this season, Vanna, is because BTAS, Batman the Animated Series, was so seminal for a generation of people who kind of grew up with it. We are asking the guests, what their favorite animated shows were back when they were growing up. I don't know what was beamed over to Klingon.
It might make me seem very old.
But we want the wide range.
You guys, you have a lot of diversity in your interviewees, but I watched a lot of Looney Tunes.
Hey,
like I loved Bugs Bunny.
Appropriate Enough is doing like a Vanna White thing at the Warner Brothers crest at the beginning of this movie. Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, it was. I loved all of those. The whole. All of the Looney Tunes like genre or whatever, they have all the Bugs Bunny, Sylvester, and Tweety Bird. Crap, what was the one where the Wile E. Coyote?
Hey, yeah.
It's like he's going to try to do something. He's going to use something from Acme. And it's always going to fail.
Yeah.
I did.
Were you a Daffy or a Bugs person? So I always think it always seemed to be like there's two types of people in this world. And the people who are Bugs Bunny is the best, and the people who are like, no, Daffy Duck is clearly the superior character.
Oh yeah, I think Bugs Bunny is the superior character for me.
Really? Okay.
It just had so much range. It was just kind of ridiculous and kind of a bit of a jackass.
That's what I loved as a kid, that he was like an absolute jerk to people.
But he's likable. He's this like affable dick.
Yeah,
kind of.
I think it's an indication maybe of where people are going to end up in life too. Because Bugs Bunny's kind of like a winner. Like he's always in control of situations. He always has one up on people. He never kind of gets flustered or anything. It's very rare that someone gets the drop on Bugs Bunny. He's always getting the drop on other people. Whereas Daffy Duck is like a neurotic, vain, constantly flustered, constantly jealous, really kind of petty guy. And I think I always related more to Daffy Duck because I was like, oh, I get this guy. Yeah, I was like, oh, I understand him. Bugs Bunny, like, yeah. I'm not like, I don't mind watching him, but I don't feel any empathy towards him.
So what you're saying is Bugs is a jock.
Yeah, Bugs is the jock, and then Daffy's he's the kind of loser of the gang.
Honestly, I aspire to be Bugs Bunny, but I'm probably Daffy Duck on the inside.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, that's me. We will head off into the dark, dark night. Klingon Vanna White, would you like to tell people where you can be found online or promote anything? Yes.
well, I could be found online, I guess, at KlingonVannaWhite.com. It's a pretty stale website right now. I don't know if you know, but I am a Klingon who is currently trying to earn an MBA.
The best. That's the best use of your time as a Klingon, I think. You know, you're trying to change perception.
It's the ultimate challenge.
It's the ultimate, let's move to the dark side. So, but yeah, I have my website, and I also have a Facebook, but you know, it's like I might take a little while to respond to people because I might be writing a stupid paper about ethics.
Understandable, you know.
Stupid ethics.
How dare they exist?
I know, they ruin everything.
Well, check all of that out, everybody, and get some nice shoulder pads installed into whatever cardigan you're wearing. And
totally.
Do speak to us on Facebook at the Bat-Minute Listeners Cave, on Twitter at Bat-Minute, Instagram, The Bat-Minute. And why don't you go to our network, Sleepy Charlie Media, on Patreon or TeePublic? You can get bonus stuff on Patreon. You can get merch on TeePublic. There you go. Just fill your life with Bat-Minute. What more do you want? If you buy other shirts, you're an idiot. And you're wrong. You should just be buying ours. You should just be drinking out of our mugs. I haven't even got a mug, but still, you should be. And join us again next time for more Bat Minute of the Phantasm. We will have minute 46. Hey, are we doing an outro?
Oh, so let's try it live and see if I corpse on it. I'm just I'm opening up a Word doc so I can just make it big. And then, so I can see it all at once. Okay. Thanks for putting in the commas, actually. This helps. Yeah. Okay. Next time, bad cops, spat cops, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bullock's bat-busting battalion blast on unabated, but their callous commander is far from elated. Furiously unfriendly fire sees a sanctuary set aflame. Could pigs popping caps near canisters that combust see our chased crusader cut up and concussed? We're ready to blow next episode, Bat Mites. Same Bat Pod, same Bat Minute.
Must up, stiff it,